evening, everybody. Coming to you live from the Jackson County Fair office. Just wanted to do some updates, put some things out there that have changed here recently, and just go over the overall fair entry process. So to begin tonight, the one thing that we want to initially talk about is the fair book. So many of you in early May, late May, and early June actually came up and picked up the blue fair book. Now, for those of you that were looking at doing junior fair entries, the blue fair book is fine. There's no issues with it. Junior fair departments are just fine. The issue comes with open fair departments. Massive issues. Basically, it's from 2021. And we've made some good changes for 2022. And unfortunately, they were not reflected in the blue fair book. So that is where the green fair book comes in. If you are looking at doing open fair entries, please make sure that you get either a green fair book or go to our website and view our documents online at jacksoncountyfairwi.com. Both the website and the green fair book are up to date and are current. So if you're just doing junior fair entries, you could still use the blue book, but if you're doing junior or open, please make sure to do the green fair book. So we have a few things that are new this year compared to last year. The most pressing thing that's different is that you will not be submitting money with your entry. In years past, you had submitted $7 as your contribution. Basically, it was for your button. And just to make it easier, we're kind of separating those two. Your button you will get whenever you want. You can pick it up at a local business here within about a week. You can pick it up at the fair office. You can actually buy a button online as well. So you can buy it wherever you want. That is your choice. Entries, you just enter. Again, submit your fair entries and then buy your button whenever you want. That's the big difference from 2021 to 2022. So beyond those two big differences, we just kind of wanted to walk through, again, the entry process and where to find some information regarding Jackson County Fair entries. So I'm going to share my screen, and you will see that this is our homepage, jacksoncountyfairwi.com. And the tab that we're going to look for is this entry tab, kind of right in the center left. So we click on entries, and we'll notice that there is the main fair book, which if you want to scroll through all 84 pages, by all means, it has everything and anything you could ever want to know about the Jackson County Fair. You'll also see that there's some general fair information. And over here, you will again find the fair book, but you also see the specific components of the fair book, from general rules and regulations to the judging schedule, junior fair and open class fair entry forms, along with your animal IDs. Your specific forms are over here on this right-hand side of the website. One thing to bear in mind is if you have a correction, so say something got an error and we're after the June 25th deadline, you can go online, come here to the entry tag correction form, click it, it'll open up to an editable PDF. You'll just fill it out, whether you need to swap something, delete something, and whatever it is, you can let us know and we'll take care of it. So getting back to our fair entries, we'll minimize the general fair information. You'll also see that if you are looking for your specific department, say you don't want to look at the whole 84 pages, you just really want to look at those items that you're going to be interested in exhibiting at the Jackson County Fair. Well, we have those individualized under the Junior Fair and Open Fair info. So if you tab down on Junior Fair info, you can actually select the specific departments that you want. And you can either just keep them open or you can print those pages. Basically, these individual departments allow us to be able so that you don't have to print off a whole bunch of pages. That if you just want to print off the 2 pages for junior dairy, you surely can. Same thing goes for open fair information. It's all here individualized so that you don't have to look at the full 84 pages. But again, all the information for the fair book is in between junior fair, open fair, and general fair information. If you are showing livestock or dairy, please bear in mind that there are some additional resources that could be helpful for you. So, for instance, in junior livestock resources, the number one thing that you may be interested in is this Exhibitor Educational Workshop Tally. So, if you click that, you'll be able to open up, and what it is, it's a Google form or Google Sheet, excuse me, and we keep track of workshops you attended and also your YQCA. And so you can look in here, look up your name, and if you find an error, that's where you need to reach out to us at the Jackson County Fair and also the Jackson County Livestock Project. So feel free to look at that resource under the Junior Livestock Resources and Information. For the dairy, kind of the same thing in regards to the dairy basket auction form along with the essay contest. And you'll also see livestock and dairy basket rules, sale rules for the junior livestock auction. So getting to the nuts and bolts of what this is actually all about, and this is fair entries, we're going to click right here and open up online fair entries. So this is the main page for Blue Ribbon Fair. This is a system out of Martech over on the eastern side of the state by Wausau. And Martech created Blue Ribbon Fair, and that's what we use at the Jackson County Fair as far as keeping track of fair entries. It allows us to print off premium checks. It's basically the warehouse of everything that happens at fair. So to begin, you're going to want to create an account. So we'll click Create an Account. And for this example, we're going to do a junior class. So either 4-H, FFA, some sort of school club, or community club that's approved. And then we're going to find which club you want to do. And so for this example, I'm going to do Blair Taylor FFA. And your club chapter is 202. So you'll start off with your first name, Steve. 120 West Johnson, Taylor. And basically, you're just kind of filling in the standard pieces of key information. Now, the email address, the interesting thing about this is that you can have the same email address for multiple usernames, basically accounts. And so I'm going to use my personal email address for all of these accounts. The additional email address is for those 4-H clubs, possibly FFA chapters. You could actually input your advisors or your club leaders' email address in here, and they would actually get notification of your fair entries as well. So that is kind of a personal decision that can be up to you. We'll just finish filling this out. Let's go January 1st of 2008, 14, 8th grade. All right, premise ID is for those who are bringing in animals. At some point, we are going to need your premise ID. It would be a lot easier if you just did it here. You also can put it into your online entries, your animal ID form. But one way or another, we're going to need your premise ID code if you are bringing animals to the fair. Username or password, and this is where it's going to be individualized per exhibitor, per club, and I'll explain that. So I'm going to do GD 4010B. And I was born by the river. All right, so this specific username is going to be attached to the Blair Taylor FFA. And remember, I talked about how you can have multiple usernames. So some examples of where you would have multiple usernames. Let's say that I am a junior member, a member of the Blair Taylor FFA, and I wanted to exhibit my beef as a Blair Taylor FFA member. But I also have some woodworking projects that I want to exhibit in open class fair. I would create this junior username for the Blair Taylor FFA, and then I would enter my junior beef, and then I would create a new username for open fair, and I would use that account to enter in my open fair entries, my woodworking that I want to do. The other example of why you would have multiple usernames or accounts is, say, for instance, you wanted to show dairy as a Blair Taylor FFA member, but you wanted to exhibit, say, sheep as a 4-H member. You would still need two accounts. You would need one account for your FFA, one account for your 4-H. So those are just a few examples of how and why you would need multiple usernames for your exhibitor. So feel free at any time to write a comment, and I'll do my best to get back in touch with you regarding that question. So we're going to save this account information. Just a quick prompt is going to come up. You're going to want to hit accept. Now you're logged in under my junior Blair Taylor FFA account. So we're going to go over here, and like I said, I want to show some dairy cattle under FFA. So I'm going to show me let's do a Guernsey just for good example. And I'm going to do a spring grade calf. So we'll keep scrolling, and we're going to find spring calf grade. So that is going to be Department 1, Class C, Item 8. So I'm going to click Add. Next, I want to exhibit some photography. So I'm going to scroll down and go to Department 20. And this is where you're going to find your specific class. So I'm 14 and older. So I'll click Class C. And I'm going to do 4 close-up pictures. So I'll hit Add. Now I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to review entries just to see what I've got. I've got my spring calf for the Guernsey, and I have my 4 pictures of a close-up. You can verify that it's correct by looking at the department, the class, and the item from what your fair book or what you printed off. Then you're going to go to Items and Checkout, and you're going to click this box right here, where it says, by clicking this box, I affirm that I have read and understood the rules and regulations set forth by the fair and will abide by them. To read those rules, please click this, and where it says Review Fair Rules. Things in here are basically that, like, you acknowledge that you will abide by the National Show Ring Code of Conduct and things like that. So feel free to review the fair rules, but ultimately you have to click this box, and then you would hit Submit. All right, so then what you do is you would get a receipt right here. You can print this as well, but this also comes in as an email. So you can print this and get this as an email. Now you can add entries all the way up until June 25th. After June 25th, we don't add entries, but if you do have to make an adjustment, we do allow for that. We can add, delete as need be, and that's where that fair entry change or correction form plays a role. So we're going to log out of this. Yep. And now we're going to create an open fair account. Now this is where you really got to kind of watch yourself to make sure you're doing it correctly. So in the division, we're going to do open class. And under club name, this is where it can kind of get a little confusing. Under club name, we're going to click, and we're going to scroll all the way down to class 900, where it says open class. If you are a junior who is looking to exhibit in open class, we've seen sometimes where they accidentally click their club chapter. But actually, you should scroll all the way down and click Club 900 for open class. And then you'll do the exact same thing before, just like with your junior fair entries. You're just going to fill this out as best as can be. 124 Jefferson Street. Well, I was way off on that, but I'll. Again, with open, you can have multiple usernames if needed. And, in open fair entries, you don't need to have your parent last name or first name. You can if you are a junior and still doing open class. You don't have to put your age, although it's always encouraged to fill that out. In this case, I'll still say that it's 14. Farm name, if you have it. Premise ID code, if you are doing open hogs, open dairy, open horse. And then you're going to create your username and password again. So I'm going to do JD4010C. Now, I did have a question in the last feed that I wasn't able to answer at the time, but the question was in regards to Clover Buds. Clover Buds is in the early learning, and it's Department 17. So it's actually in the junior fair part of the fair book. So, and again, you're going to click that you accept. And then basically we're doing the same thing. We're going to entries, and we're in open class. We're going to do dairy. We're actually going to scroll down to 101 because with open class entries and departments are one something. 101, 102. Anything that starts with a 0 is actually junior. And so you're going to want to make sure that you click one of the ones if you're doing open class. So that's the big difference between 001, which would be junior, and 101, which would be open class. So for instance, if we wanted to do, say, that Guernsey in open class, we're going to go down to 101, and then we're going to click, that was the wrong one. We're going to minus that. We're going to go back up to the Guernsey, and we're going to click that spring heifer class. Now, in this sort of case, you're not going to see the difference between spring or registered and grade, because in open dairy, you have to be registered. So that's why you don't see that split in the heifer spring class. But we're going to add that. And then we are going to, oh goodness, let's do some open cultural arts. We'll do advanced, and we'll just do this one, the drawing, pencil, and abstract. So that's been added. All right. So we will once again go to review entries, and we can see that we did indeed enter in the correct departments, 101, which is for open class, class B, which is the Guernsey, and item 1, which is the spring heifer for the, I believe it was photography or cultural arts, maybe. 118, class A, and item 1, which was the drawings, pencils, and abstract. So as long as these are correct, go to your items and checkout. You would again click the box by stating that you affirm that you read the rules and regulations set forth by the fair. You can view them here, and then click submit. You will have the opportunity to see your fair entries here again. You can come in and make adjustments if need be, or otherwise you can let us know at the fair. We can make adjustments on our end. But we are very looking forward to Those of you exhibiting this year at the Jackson County Fair, we're always here to help. Please feel free to send us a question via Facebook. You can comment on this video, or you can also email us at jackson.county.fair1, like the number 1, at gmail.com. And if all else fails, give us a call here at the fair office, 715-284-4558. So with that, please leave any comments with questions, and we hope and we are glad to see you out at the Jackson County Fair for 2022. With that, I bid you all a very good day, and I hope you have a great weekend.